This is the 30th anniversary of what exactly?
The band is called the Lloyd Jones Struggle.
Yes.
There are many reasons for that we won't go into right now.
No, I want to know what the reason is.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever played music for a living?
No, but I've written about it a whole lot, yeah.
The more you love it, the more painful it becomes because they know that. So the next time I have my house painted, I thought I wouldn't pay them because I know how much they like to paint. Besides that, early on I was fortunate enough to back a lot of the blues greats, and that's kind of where I learned and got wrapped up in it. S.P. Leary is a great drummer, played with Muddy and Big Walter and those guys, and when Big Walter came out here, SP came out here, stayed at my house, and he's telling me great history and that stuff, you know, and he's saying, he says, you know, it's a struggle, son, but you got to keep it alive, because their music was just reaching this part of the country, white audiences and so on, and that was wonderful for them to reach this huge new audience, but they were seeing the end of an era, and will this music last, and so on. So it was our duty to keep on struggling.
I see.
So, kind of keep an SP struggle alive.
And now you're him.
Now I'm one. Yeah, whoa,
now you're him.
Yeah, now we are one. But you know, the friendships and the fact that I do love the music, I wouldn't have changed a thing.
Okay. So the original band was who?
The original band. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Because in the early stages, I was actually playing with a friend of mine, Curtis Legato, and I had a band called In Your Face. Mm-hmm. We never recorded that band, we never took pictures, but man, oh man, we grew, we learned, and it was a wonderful thing. On the side, I started doing this for songwriting. Not really intending it to be a full-time band, but to hear the songs better. And I started Monday nights. Now that was different people than what finally evolved into the band full-time. Okay. But the full-time band at that point was Rudy Draco on tenor saxophone, Bob Roden, magnificent tenor player, is not with us any longer, with me a long time, powerful player, great road dog, and so it was House Wang, Rudy. Dave Cole played bass in the beginning, and there was another guy in this picture here, Jim Solberg. And as drummers often will, changed a lot those days. But it was a guy named Mike Clovis who's back with me now.
Did they explode like in Spinal Tap?
No, you know, I found a picture of, and I could put that personnel together right now. The cats are still playing, and a lot of them are still with me. Warren Rand, great alto player, is back with me, and he worked in the early years with me too. So now Warren's back, and Rudy is still with me. Drummers are come and gone, but Mike Clovis is back playing a lot of the gigs now, and that's delightful. So in a way, it's full circle, and there's been little interruptions and hiccups, but a lot of the same cats. And Glenn, I should mention, Glenn Holstrom's the keyboard player from the beginning, and really helps me with the arranging and writing for the horn section and so on, and musical director. He's the smart guy.
What is that like, playing with the same guys for that longer period of time?
Well, it's like any relationship where you start developing this history together, and you have this way of talking together that would make no sense to anybody else. But as we travel on the road and funny things happen, it's incorporated into our language. And this guy named Reinhard Meltz, this magnificent drummer that I had for a while.
Odd meters.
Incredible drummer. He was so good at an early age, I knew he was just going places. But he was also good at mimicking people and things, and I think that's the good ear that he had. And so there were times he would just burst into something that would take us back 4 or 5 years to this incident, and he could memorize it and do all the parts, and we'd be howling and rolling on the floor. Strange to be looking at us like, I don't understand. So you couldn't understand. So there's that history that gets added to as we travel. We remember things and share that, and it's actually more and more fun.
Work that way on stage too?
Yeah. You kind of see things coming, and I know that a lot of times they'll know that I'm notorious for just deciding to go sideways or make a big song list and not do anything on the song list. And they're aware of that. You'll see them roll their eyes, but they understand. I gotta live with the moment, you know. So no, it's been really good.
It must be great to be able to trust them to roll with that.
That's a big part of it, is that trust comes from knowing that, you know. And there's times when they see something stumble and need help driving, or just see something right away and just jump in. You know?
Yeah.
So it's good.
So who's going to be at the gig?
Well, the band now, like I said, it's Warren Rand and Rudy Draco.
Yeah.
Denny Bixby's relatively new to the band, but I've known him a long, long time. So it's going to be a mix, and then quite a few of these people are around in town, and I'm going to invite to come down and sit in, and we'll do songs that I haven't been doing currently that I did when they were in the band.
Really?
And things like that.
Like what?
Well, early on, one of the first things that I wrote and recorded was called "Live It Up." And I haven't called that in years, and I'll call that. Jim Solberg's a great singer as well as bass player, and would sing duet things with me. So if I can get him to come out, we'll do some of that. And there's a lot of people that only played in the band a year or two that I still have a great relationship as great musicians. So I'm going to try to needle them too. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a full stage.
Yeah. Sometimes there's more on the stage than in the audience, but it's going to be fun. And I'm going to try to call tunes from a broad spectrum of all those years. See what I can remember. I'll be loose.
So there won't exactly be a set list?
Definitely not exactly anything. I may come up with an outline, but it's just a rough outline. I was thinking today on some of the journeys that we've taken. There was a period of time we backed the great Earl King, and we were delighted because of his rich songwriting history out of New Orleans, and we got along really well. And that's not easy to do with Earl. He's a wonderful person, great historian, but when he gets liquored up, he's gone. So we had to keep that connection going before we lose him, and I'd warn him and stuff. But I think back now, I mean, traveling from Victoria, BC, all the way down through California, and the things we're learning, and you don't realize you're making these great memories at the time. Delbert McClinton's cruises and those kind of things now are really good memories. And
you got to sing Big Chief with Earl King?
The same what?
You got to sing Big Chief with Earl King?
Yes, as a matter of fact, for those who live here and know about Janet Scroggins was playing piano and does that whole opening to Big Chief. And then Earl came out and started nodding off.
Oh, gee.
We had to wake him up, and he'd get through about 3 tunes and then nod off again. So we couldn't let him have the booze till later. In Victoria, they said, you can come back anytime you want, but don't bring that guy.
Oh, gee.
No, he's really good. He just was absent tonight.
They didn't quite understand who Earl King was.
Earl King, I know. Look up Earl King if you don't.
Yeah, really.
But at one point, he went out in the audience. And he's getting all into it and everything, you know, and he had the guitar up behind his head and everything, and he's working through the audience. And then he went out the front door and went to the hotel room. The promoter's just scathingly mad at me. There's a line out the door down the street. And they haven't even come into the club yet, and he's gone back to the hotel room. Where's Earl?
Anybody go get him?
Yeah. They went and found him, brought him back, and he thought he'd played for hours and apologized. And then he went back and started the first song over again. No. Earl, no, you did that one.
Did you ever think that 30 years later you'd still be doing this? I mean, maybe you did. I mean, I don't know. It's a real
never
question.
knew any better. I was just going to see if I could burn myself out on it. So I really floored it, you know. And the more you do it, it's like more and more pieces of the puzzle come together. Then you start hearing more. Then you start getting more out of it. And then you make friendships of other great musicians. And doors open, playing-wise, opportunity-wise. And it just snowballs to a degree that you get hooked on it. Now, I don't know that I could not do it now. That's the scary part.
Well, happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is going to be fun.